Do you have a budget device? Do you have maybe a good device, but when you try to play Call of Duty Mobile, it still lags? Do you jump into matches and constantly get really good kill streaks, but then your game freezes and you die from some noob with a rocket launcher? If you said yes to these questions, then this video is for you. Today, I have compiled everything I could possibly think of to make the very best lag fix tutorial for Call of Duty Mobile. There are many different things I will be explaining in this video, starting from very simple tips to much more in-depth guides on different apps you can download for both iOS and Android, different hidden settings on your Android device you can turn on to help boost your device's performance, how to make your internet speed better, and even things you can do when you hook your phone up to your computer to get the ultimate lag fix for this game. You can actually change the resolution of your display and play Call of Duty Mobile in an entirely different fashion. I hope you benefit from this video. Please hit that like button if you did, as a lot of effort went into this video and your support is greatly appreciated. Subscribe for more Call of Duty Mobile videos just like this. Hit the bell button and let's jump into this. First up, in-game settings. The most likely cause of lag for most people will simply be the fact that they're trying to run their device at too high of graphics and frame rate settings. Here's the thing, if you're playing matches in this game, I would 100% say that frame rate is much more important than overall graphics quality. Because of this, you should try and keep your frame rates between high and max and lower your graphics quality more. If you try to keep your graphics quality high and you put your frame rate at low, your game will feel very sluggish and laggy, and you'll actually do worse in the game because of it. So tip 1, high frame rates, low graphics. But we need to get more in depth. If you're still lagging, turn off all of the settings below frame rate settings. This includes depth of field, ragdoll animation, anti-aliasing, bloom, and real-time shadows all turned off. It won't make your game look too great, but it will make it run better. If you're lagging in Battle Royale, keep the graphics style at standard, and here's something a bit controversial, but it is true. If you like playing with gyroscope on, I have news for you. It does make your game lag more. So if you want a little bit more boost in in-game performance, turn gyroscope off and use the regular touch controls. Something I do find happens occasionally in this game is it lags for a half second or so when I zoom in to shoot a weapon. So if you go into your control settings, make sure hipfire is checked for everything, and that way you can avoid having to scope in every single time you shoot at someone. But hey, continuing on, let's leave the Call of Duty Mobile app and let's talk about some more simple things you can do to improve device performance. The two most important things you can do to actually have your device make this game run well are device memory and storage space. Memory is primary space within your computer or phone or tablet or whatever that is used to run your device, all of the different apps, and the stuff in the background. Storage is pretty self-explanatory. The more memory and storage you have, the better your device will run Call of Duty Mobile. Here's how you can maximize memory usage. Close out every other app other than Call of Duty Mobile. If you have 20 apps open at once, chances are your device will not have that much memory left to play Call of Duty, and at least will not be able to concentrate everything on Call of Duty. It'll overheat, and you'll not have a good time. Every half hour or so, you should close out of Call of Duty Mobile, restart your device entirely, and open up Call of Duty again once it starts up. That way, you can clear all of the cache from earlier and have a much more optimized device. If your device is overheating, it's probably due to memory being maxed out. Overheating is bad because it lowers device performance and it can actually affect other things like your battery life. Stick your phone or tablet in a refrigerator for a couple of minutes, and that low temperature inside it will cool it back down to normal levels. Now, in terms of storage, there are a lot of things you can do. Delete old text messages you don't need. Transfer all of your photos and videos to Google Drive, Dropbox, iCloud, or even to a computer, which is my personal recommendation. You never know when the cloud will disappear one day, so if you store all of your photos and videos on an external hard drive or something, you'll be able to keep them forever. And then, since you have them somewhere else, you can delete them off of your device, and you'll have tons more storage space available. Delete apps you don't use anymore because some of them actually take up gigabytes worth of space, and iOS devices are cool because in your storage settings, you can auto-delete old conversations and offload unused apps, which for me, for example, can give me almost 100 gigabytes back on my device. For Android, go to your downloads and just clear out that entire folder. And for both iOS and Android, see if you can delete any other unnecessary files that you don't need anymore. If you don't want to delete your old text messages like I do, at least delete the photos and videos sent through your Messages app, and that will really give you a lot more space just like that. Now that you're boosted memory and storage, what else can you do? Well, sometimes you might be getting lag issues because of a bad internet connection. Would you like to know how to make your internet run way better? There's an app that I'll have linked down below in the description for both iOS and Android, where it does something pretty cool. It will actually combine the strengths of all available Wi-Fi signals near you to provide you the best possible internet connection you can get where you are at right now. You might have two different Wi-Fi signals right next to you. One might be very fast, but cuts out every once in a while and isn't very stable. The other might be a little slower, but it is very stable. And then you might also have the cell connection nearby as well. The app actually combines the two signals and the cell connection, and with that combination, you'll have a stable connection with sometimes spikes that boost in performance from that faster signal. It's very useful, and if you would like a full in-depth explanation on how to use the app, I would highly recommend checking out the whole video tutorial that I will have linked down below. And if you have more than one connection, you're going to see that it does work. It will give you a faster internet connection. And after you're done, you can test your speed with Speedify, and you can see how much it boosted up your internet speed. The actual video tutorial says it's for PUBG Mobile, but it will work for Call of Duty Mobile just the same. It will be a massive benefit to everyone on both iOS and Android. Next up, there are some apps you can download for iOS and Android that'll optimize your device. Let's look at them, shall we? Okay guys, so here we are now on my Android device. We're in the Play Store and I searched Nox Security. We're going to be taking a look at Nox Security, Antivirus Clean Virus Booster. This is not a sponsored video. Have to keep that in mind because some people will think it is. This is, in my personal opinion, one of the very best cleaning apps for Android devices right now. Yes, there are continually getting to be better and better cleaning apps out there. So if there is one that comes in the coming months, then I will make a video on it. We're going to open it up though, and we're going to see that this is the screen you're going to first be seeing. The scan button is probably going to be orange for you. If you open this up for the very first time, you can click on that. It's going to scan through all of your different apps. It's going to see if you have a virus, okay? Now, here's the thing. Viruses are running always in the background when you have a virus on your device, and that will actually slow it down. This will determine if it actually is there, and then it will actually neutralize the threat. Pretty cool stuff. However, there are some other things that this app has. There is the junk cleaner. I literally just used this myself. It says it's very clean, but for you, if you've never used this before, you could have up to 2 to 4 gigabytes worth that you can clean. Next up, there's the CPU cooler. Now, my CPU is perfectly fine, but if you've been playing Call of Duty Mobile for a very long time, maybe like an hour, 2 hours, yeah, your device is probably very hot. That'll determine if it is, and honestly, you can try to cool it down with this app, but I would personally still recommend putting it in the refrigerator if you have a couple of minutes to spare and you don't have to worry about playing the game. So this is just a way to determine if it is way too hot, okay? Notification blocker is great. Notifications can actually lower your device's performance. Every time you get a notification, your device might lag a little bit. Enable now, and you can actually turn that on. Notification access. This is where things get a little bit iffy because as you can see, it will be allowed to read all notifications. If you're all about privacy, you might not want to do something like this because you might not want some random app looking at your notifications, okay? Let's go over to the memory booster here. I just boosted my device, so I'm obviously not going to have to boost it anymore. What it does is it can actually close out any apps that you already have open, and that's always a great thing to have happen. It's just going to make it run a little bit better, as we talked about with your memory. There's some other tools that we're not really going to worry about here. And then lastly, the practical functions. There's battery saver, which definitely will not boost your device's performance, so I would not recommend using that. And then there's the game booster at the very bottom here. It will fluctuate between high and medium for me. If I wanted to get this up to high, what I would do is I would click the Add Game button. I would add Call of Duty to that, and then when you click on the app itself, it's going to boost up the game as much as it can, and then open up the app. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to open up Call of Duty right now, but if I were to click on the Call of Duty icon right now, it will boost it up and run it at its absolute fullest potential. Alright guys, so here I am on my iPhone. I'm going to show you guys Mobile Security Delete Duplicate Photo. This is a relatively simple app, but it does get the job done. If you don't want to actually delete your photos and videos on your phone, well, you might want to get this app and it will actually do some pretty cool stuff here. So I'm going to download it. We're opening it up for the very first time. And as we can see, it's going to scan for the very first time. I have 85% of all of my storage used up already, so I do have most of my device completely filled up. We can click on Junk Clean first. It's going to scan all of the junk that we have. Obviously, I've not been using my phone too much because I've been making this video mostly, just recording gameplay on my Android device. My iOS device has been pretty much idle, so I don't actually have to worry about this. The only thing I don't like about this app is you actually have to give a 5-star feedback. So I'm going to do that real quick. And there we go. I mean, you literally can just send something completely empty. You don't have to praise the app if you've never used it before. Just send the random empty email and you should be good here. So, phone boost. RAM is about to run out. That's not good. 87% used RAM. We're going to click that boost button at the very bottom of our screen. Going to clear out all that cache that we don't really want to have to deal with. Great. Fantastic. Junk clean, we just did that, so we're going to skip past that. We're going to go click the duplicated photos section. I'm not actually going to do that myself, but what it does is actually, you know what, I'll do it. Why not? Got it. Access photos. It's going to go through all of my photos and see how many are similar. As you can see, there are hundreds and hundreds of similar photos that I have. And if I really wanted to boost my device's performance and lower the amount of storage that I actually am taking up, I mean, come on. Look at this. I can delete all of those photos right now. All right, so for me, it's taking way too long. I've been sitting here for 6 minutes as it's been scanning more and more and more photos. I have over 20,000 photos in my camera roll, and we can see that I'm having upwards of 8,000 duplicate photos, or at least very similar photos. The reason is because I always like to take multiple photos of the same type of scene, and then I choose the best one. I put it into an editing app, and then I edit the colors just slightly so I can post it onto Instagram and stuff like that. And then it, ends up with 5 to 10 of the exact same photo that I've never bothered to actually delete. So if I were to delete these 9,000 similar photos right now, probably over 10,000 by the time this is finished, I'm going to have hundreds of gigabytes freed up from my device. But I'm going to exit back because I don't really need to worry about that. Not really that necessary. Next up, what we can do is the photo compression. It's going to scan the albums. I'm not really going to worry about this because what it can do is it can actually decrease the size of the photos so you actually have a more useful amount of space used up on your device. But in general, this is a great app that you can use. Works almost 100% for the most part, and the nice thing is it's on the App Store right now. So link down below in the description. Check it out if you're an iOS user. And very last, the biggest thing you can do to boost your device performance is to actually physically change the resolution of your game itself. If you have a phone with, say, a 2840 by 1200 resolution, I don't know if that's a thing, I'm just giving out random numbers, you can have or even reduce the resolution by 75% if you really want to. The less pixels that are on your screen, the less memory will be used up on your device, and it will work that much better. It might not look pretty, but it does work. You will need a computer to do this, and it's for Android devices only at the moment, but let me show you how it's done. If you're pretty good with your Android device's settings, you're going to need to find the build number. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, go to your settings and search the word build. You should see where it's located on your phone right there. It's on System, About Phone. We're going to click on System, click on About Phone, and you should see right at the very bottom there, the build number button. Now it sounds weird, but all you need to do is tap the number 7 times. Just tap on that, 4, 5, 6, 7. As you can see, I have already done this, but for you, if you've never enabled your developer options, it's going to say you are 4 steps away from being a developer, 3, 2, 1, and then there you go. You're a developer. You can go back now, advanced, and you'll see developer options. If you've never done this before and you didn't tap it 7 times, you will not see developer options there. But now you do. So you can click on that and you can scroll down and you can see USB debugging right here. You're going to click USB debugging and enable that. And now, once you've done that, you are finally ready to actually hook your phone up to your computer, install the programs that I'm going to show you all in just a second, and get this thing working. Okay guys, so here we are now on my Windows computer's home screen. You're first going to click the link that I provided down below in the description at the top. That's going to take you to win-rar.com/download. You're going to click on whatever version, English, whatever language you want. I'm going to click the 64-bit English version and then continue to download WinRAR. It'll finish in just a second. Save file, and then I'm going to click on that, install, go through the process of installing this onto my computer. Okay, and done. Now we have WinRAR installed on our computer, as you can see right there. We can go through all of our files, and it's going to basically unzip anything that is zipped. So, next up, you're going to click on the other link that I provided down below in the description, and that is going to take you to androidmtk.com/download. You see the link up there at the top. This is Minimal Adb and Fastboot. It's kind of a cool program. It can do a lot of things to your Android device that you wouldn't normally be able to do. It can manually change a lot of settings on your device, and you have to listen carefully to this tutorial or else you could actually very easily screw up your device if you're using this program the wrong way. So you're going to scroll down and you're going to download whatever is the latest version of this. If you're watching this tutorial in 2021 or some really late time after this is uploaded, it's obviously not going to be 1.4.3. So keep that in mind. Download whatever is the latest one. Scroll down, click Start Now. Okay, and as you could see there, it's going to be using WinRAR to actually install this. It's going to make things a lot easier. It'll actually automatically open up with WinRAR, and from there, we can click Extract to the desktop. Okay, and I actually already have it extracted to my desktop, so I'm just going to replace that, exit out of that, and now we have this right there on our desktop. Minimal ADB, it's going to be a folder just like that. You're going to click on minimaladbfastboot.exe. Click on Yes, click on Next, 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 and then if you want to create a desktop icon, you can Next and Install. What we're going to do now is finish and launch this program, and as you can see right here, it is now running on our computer. So, this is where you're going to need to plug in your device. Okay, guys, so I have my Android device now plugged into my computer. And if you do plug it in for the very first time, you're probably going to have some type of message that appears that says, enable USB debugging or allow USB debugging. You're going to click OK. Just make sure that's allowed. After this point in time, as you can see, I also have a different window open, the resolution scale calculator. That's going to be the third link that I have down below underneath the Minimal Adb and Fastboot link. You're going to click on that. Should take you to this website right here by bneijt.nl. And this is very crucial because you're going to need to downscale to the proper resolution. You can't just type in any random number. You need to use the proper resolution scaling. So, for the very first time, if you're all ready to go, you're plugged in, everything's set, you're going to type in ADB devices. Click Enter. It should recognize your device. Might come up as a bunch of numbers. It might say something like DAAEMON, unsuccessful, successful, something like that. And if it presents you with this next line, you're on the right track. Things are looking good. You're going to type in next, ADB shell, WM size, as you can see there. It's going to show the physical size of my device's home screen. This is the resolution of my device by default. 1440 by 2560, that is the highest it can possibly get. You cannot change your resolution to be anything higher than 1440 by 2560. Next thing you're going to type is ADB shell, WM density. This is going to look at the pixel density of your device. Mine is 480. If you're going to want to downscale to make your game run better, that's also going to need to get lower. If you're good, if you're ready, if you're all set, listen very carefully. This is what you're going to need to do. You're going to need to go over to the resolution scale calculator and type in 1440, 2560, or whatever it shows here on the very first line for you. You're going to click anywhere on the screen, and then it will give you a list of possible combinations that you can use to change your resolution to. Remember, as I said, you cannot go above 1440 by 2560. It doesn't make sense to change your device to 4608 by 8192. You can't, manually make your device a 4K device by doing this. This is the highest that it can go right here, okay? We need to make it lower. And if you want to still make the game run well, if you want to actually be able to see people at a distance and not make things too pixelated, you're probably going to want to hover around these right here. 720p is a very good setting. It's still good enough to where you wouldn't really see the pixels, but it is lower than a lot of devices, and in turn, of course, it's going to make it better. For the sake of this video, so we don't get a bunch of people that say, oh, you didn't even do anything, it's all fake, I'm going to make it very, very pixelated on an extreme level so you can actually see the change in real time on my Android screen, okay? This is obviously not ideal. You don't want to make it as low as 2288 to 512. Everything will be ridiculously pixelated as you saw in the intro of this video. So remember those numbers, 288, 512. You're going to click right there and you're going to do ADB shell, WM size, and you're going to type in the ratio. 288 by 512. Make sure the numbers are correct. Do not stray away from these numbers. If you do, you have a chance of screwing up your device. So make sure you use the numbers that show up right here. Enter. As you could see in real time, that's what happens to my Android device's screen when I do that. Now that doesn't look very good, right? If we just stick with the ADB shell WM size, that's going to screw things up a lot. So we also need to change the pixel density. We're going to type in ADB shell, WM density, and as a rule of thumb, if you're going by, say this, for example, is about 1/5 of the quality of resolution as what it was originally, you're going to go to about 1/5 of the physical density. So I'm going to say right around 100, a little bit more than 1/5 of that 480. Clicked enter. As you can see, the Android screen is back to normal. It's very pixelated, don't get me wrong. Everything is very fuzzy, very blurry, and the wallpaper is actually screwed up, but it did lower the resolution, and as you can see, you can barely even see the actual Play Store, your settings, other stuff like that. It's very, very pixelated, very low resolution. It might look bad, but that is the key in order to make your games run better. So, I'm going to keep it like this, and I'm going to show you guys what Call of Duty Mobile looks like. But before I do that, if you're worried that this is a permanent thing, you don't have to worry. All you need to do is type in ADB shell, WM size, and then go back to the original physical size that showed in the above, okay? 1440 by 2560. Click enter, and then once again type in ADB shell, WM density, 480. Click enter, and my Android device is right back to what it was before. So you're not going to actually screw up your device permanently when doing this. This is just a temporary thing for when you're playing games like Call of Duty Mobile, and it's a really cool thing. So let's see what Call of Duty Mobile looks like when we're actually using these resolution settings. All right, guys, so we're finally now on Call of Duty Mobile. I'm going to show you kind of briefly for about a minute or two what it looks like after you change the resolution. As you can see, it looks very bad, and that is because I kind of went excessive there. 288 by 512 is obviously not the ideal resolution, and that's because it's actually very difficult to even see people at range when you're using this resolution. It's just super pixelated. The purpose of this video was to actually show that you can change a resolution. And if I put it down to 720p, I know there'd be some people that can't notice a difference. And they'd say, oh, you're lying about this whole thing. You can't change the resolution. So, for the purposes of that, I went a little bit overboard, and you guys can clearly see how different it actually looks. And yeah, that was a lot of information, and I'm sorry if you couldn't really keep up with every single thing I was talking about in this video, but I tried to condense this down in as simplified of a tutorial as possible to maximize your device's performance for both iOS and Android. I really hope you benefited to some extent from this video. Yes, I do know Call of Duty Mobile is quite the intense game, and if you have a budget device, it's very hard to run it smoothly. I hope after watching this video, at least one or two of the tips I showed you helped your game run a lot smoother. That's it for today's video though. If you want me to find even more ways to fix lag for Call of Duty Mobile and make a sort of part 2 to this video, I certainly can. Just leave a like, subscribe to my channel, and comment down below if you would like to see a part 2 at some point in the future. Turn on my post notifications so you don't miss out on any of my future Call of Duty Mobile content coming throughout the rest of 2020. And thank you so much for staying until the end. We're out of time, so I'm gonna head out. I'll see you guys later.